This week's episode of I Was a Teenage Film Snob is not brought to you by Wicked, coming November 2024. Welcome to I Was a Teenage Film Snob. I'm James Chalmers, your friendly neighborhood film snob, and it's episode 104. I don't know why I keep listing every number
You're
of the
friendly.
Friendly. Did I say it weird?
No, you were just like, I'm your friendly. Duh.
I'm always like your friendly neighbor. I always do that.
Yeah, but I don't know. The tone you used was like, who says I'm not friendly?
Yeah, guys, I'm so friendly. Surprise, I have a guest.
Yeah, I'm always going to be the
She
guest.
cannot even
I can't not be the
respect
guest.
the introductory method.
That's because I've been on the show so many times. They're just like...
She's like, guys, he's not friendly. Like, listen to my blinks. Help. Listen to my blinks. Tina's here.
Hi.
Hi. And we're still in Scotland.
Yep.
This is your first appearance on the show since we got to Scotland. I did a...
Oh, yeah, because we did a show in Italy, but we didn't do a show in Scotland yet.
Did we do a show in Italy?
Yeah, we did. We did the recap. We did 101.
I think that was in Colmar.
Oh, okay. Well, there you go then.
Yeah.
Remember.
Did you do a London show with me?
No.
No. I'm trying to remember. London was
Yeah.
hectic.
Yeah.
Oh, no, London was... I talked about this in the last episode. I tried to record an episode multiple times from the streets of London. I was walking to the theatre and there was so much background noise. I was like...
No. Yeah.
And, like, the way I recorded was I started recording. I'm like, oh, the trailer for Deadpool and Wolverine came up. So let me talk about that one. All right. And then, like, by the time I was ready to put the episode up, I'd seen Deadpool and Wolverine. So I was like, don't worry. There's nothing to talk about the trailer because
Yeah,
the movie's
that's
out
right.
now.
Exactly.
How are you since we've settled in?
Not sick anymore.
Yeah,
So that's
good.
great.
Not
Because
sick.
I was concerned I was going to need another round of antibiotics. So no, I'm not sick anymore.
Well, I don't
which
think you
is
were
great.
sick on the last episode you were on.
Yeah, I mustn't have been because that was Colmar.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was
You were-
better by Colmar.
That's right, because we were just like complaining
Yeah.
about how sick everyone had been.
Yeah, that's right.
I'm sick. I've been sick. I'm getting there.
Yeah, but it's not like... You're just a little bit congested.
Yeah, but there was a brief moment where we were like, oh no. Like, because like I was getting some of the same
It
symptoms.
begins!
And I was like, it was like days before I was meant to go back to work. And I was like, oh no.
Yeah.
But no, thankfully, it seems like I'm almost on the other side of it.
Yeah. No, I'm good. I really enjoyed London.
Yeah.
Really enjoyed London.
I talked a little bit about London on the last episode, but there were a couple of things I left. I'm like, we'll get Tina on the show to talk about them.
Yeah.
I think London for all of us was probably I say all of us, you and I don't know whether Zoe cared all that much.
Oh, I think she really enjoyed it. She's talked about it a lot.
Well, I was going to say, like, I think it was the point that we were looking forward to the most. We were like, and Zoe, like, because she had no idea what to expect. She was like, we're on holiday.
Yeah.
But I think...
But, we talked about, we're going to the Harry Potter studios and there's going to be red buses everywhere. And she was like, ah!
And London was also, I think, like, the first time where she wasn't like, I want to go home. Like,
Yeah.
And not
Well, she hasn't really said that much.
Yeah, she said it a few times.
She said it a few times.
But I think
she's really starting to understand.
We're here for the long haul.
We're not going home just yet.
But
Because she keeps saying, when we go home in Australia, can I do this?
But I
Okay,
think
yeah,
also,
sure.
like, I don't know if we talked about this in the podcast or not, but I think, like, just being in another country where we don't speak the same language, I think that was very overwhelming for her.
Yeah,
She was like,
she was really shy and reserved when people from, like, Italy and France were talking to her. Yeah,
she liked that joke.
yeah.
But, she did clam up quite a bit. And, like, she's not the most, like, she's outgoing.
She's fair enough. She's never been out of the country before.
I think, like, she's a lot like me in the way that I'm an extroverted introvert, where it's like, if I'm with my people,
Yeah.
oh my goodness, I won't shut up. But if I'm around people I don't really know them, I, like, clam up. And she's a lot like that.
Yeah.
Because she's not, like, she is extroverted at home. But if she's around new people or people she's not sure about, she won't be like, whoa.
Well, I think that's a really good trait for a 3-year-old to have.
Yes.
Because I don't need a 3-year-old while I'm travelling around the world to be like, I'm going up to every single stranger, going, this is where we're going. This is what we're doing. It's like that girl at Tower of London, who like I'm standing there with holding Zoe and I'm pointing to the Tower of London, and I go, that's a castle, and princes and princesses used to live in that castle, and there's like I'd say maybe 7-year-old. I'd say about 7-year-old.
No older than 7.
Yeah, no older than 7. American girl just like interrupts me and goes, "Are you going there?"
We're going there too.
And I was like, no. Anyway, Zoe, it's just like, oh, we're going there. They give you maps. And I'm like, can you shut the fuck up, please? Because I'm in the middle of a conversation with my daughter where I'm trying to teach her about the fact that the Tower of London used to be a castle.
Yeah.
Like, I don't need fucking little kids coming up to me and being like, are you interested in this bullshit I have to talk about? No, I'm fucking not. Leave me alone.
You are the magnet for that, though.
I am such a magnet. That's why my tone is like this. I am such a magnet for that. I don't know if it's something about my face. I don't know if it's because I'm a teacher. But kids think that they can come up to me and start talking to me. And I'm like, please do not talk to me. I do not care about you.
It happens to you, like, even back home, like, at the playground.
Yeah, at the playground and stuff like that.
the
Like,
kids
it'll be
wanna
me
talk
and
to you.
Zoe. And, like, I'm trying to help Zoe do something, like, climb up something. And some little dipshit's like, I can do a flip. I'm like, I don't fucking care.
I hope you don't.
Hope you flip and die.
Whoa.
Yeah, it's not my kid, so...
What's the, it's not infanticide.
It is infanticide.
Is it?
Yeah.
Is that children or is it just
Yeah,
infants?
it's killing... Isn't it?
I don't know. There's that scene in Game of Thrones, remember, where they're like patricide, matricide, they're like, is there any word they haven't come up with for killing someone? And they're like cousins.
I don't remember that scene.
Regicide. Yeah, it's right before the it's the Mountain the Viper episode.
Oh, okay.
So like when Tyrion's in the cell, like Jaime comes and visits him and they're talking about it and they're joking about it. And then, you know, Oberyn won our hearts and then broke our hearts in the same scene.
Oh my God.
Man. The most stressed out I've been watching a television episode, I think, to this day.
Yeah.
So yeah, spent some time in London, which was really good. We'll talk about some of the things we did in London soon. And then, yeah, we've been in Scotland for almost... By the time this comes out, we'll be in for a week.
Yeah.
And it's been... I would want to say it's been chill, but we've done like 10,000 steps minimum every single day.
Yeah.
Like,
But
God.
to be fair, we don't have a car, so we do have to walk everywhere. Like, just
No.
walking to the station.
We need to walk... We are required to walk to the place we need to go, but we don't have to walk everywhere.
Yeah.
But we are making it our
walking
goal to, like,
everywhere.
everywhere our feet can touch.
Yeah.
My
feet are so sore.
Oh my God. Like, I think I've lost like a ton of weight though. Like, no, not a ton, but I was looking at myself in the mirror before. I was like, I bought shorts and like they keep falling down.
I certainly have not. Because I keep thinking, oh, you know, all this walking. And then I just go and eat an entire packet of Jaffa cakes.
And that's what Zoe did this morning for breakfast.
She did.
Like, we were both so
My
tired.
fault leaving. You know what? I left it on the coffee table and I was like, I bet you she's going to go eat those for breakfast. And I was like, I can't be bothered moving
Because she
them.
brought, like, but like, there was some generosity there because I heard her and she's like, Mummy, do you want this Jaffa cake?
Yeah.
And then she brought one to me as well. I was like, oh, I don't want it. She goes, okay. And then she ate it. And then I came out, I saw there were only 2 Jaffa cakes left. And I was like, should we eat these Jaffa cakes? And she goes, yeah. I was like, but we don't have those for breakfast.
Yeah.
And she's like, I know. And then, like, proceeded to eat them. I was like, all right.
Oh, my goodness.
But yeah, like, we were pretty wrecked this morning. Like, I think it was the first time we've both been, like, just like, oh, I don't want to get out of bed.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, I only had 3 hours sleep.
and I've just come off 2 night shifts.
Yeah.
I'm still getting my sleeping pattern under control, so we're both just like...
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's been pretty crazy. But before we jump into all the London of it all, have you been watching anything?
I have been watching some...
Have you seen any movies since you were last on?
Movies. I don't think so.
So you haven't watched any movies since...
We
Italy.
watched some Italy.
Italy, we
Watched
talked
some
about all
Italy,
those,
yeah.
yeah. We watched some documentary series.
I mean, I've watched Harry Potter 1, 2, 3, and
Oh
4
my
like
God.
a billion times.
I said to you the other
'cause of
day,
Zoe.
we were in a shop and I'm like, after this trip, I never need to do anything Harry Potter ever again. Like,
When I'm like, no, I'm happy.
I'm like, oh my God, like...
I'll keep doing Harry Potter
We've been in
things.
so many Harry Potter shops. And look, but they're not Harry Potter shops. They advertise themselves as Harry Potter shops. And they have Lord of the Rings stuff. Which I'm like, okay, well, that's kind of adjacent. And they'll have,
And
like,
majority of
Game
it's
of
Harry Potter
Thrones stuff.
stuff.
And that's kind of adjacent. And then they'll have, like, Central Perk from Friends. I'm like, oh, yeah.
Yeah.
You know that scene in Harry Potter where they're like...
Yeah.
You know, when Ross...
No, what were we going to say?
I don't know. I was like, when Ross got sorted into Gryffindor or something as a 30-year-old man.
Yeah. No.
I'm an exchange student.
That I don't mind so much because I find those stores really interesting. What I do mind is we are now at the point where, because we have gone into every single store that has Harry Potter merchandise, now any store that has one Harry Potter thing in it in the window, Zoe thinks it's a Harry Potter store and we have to go into it. So for example, like the town that we're staying in, there's an op shop, right? And the op shop is selling op shop clothes and op shop toys. And there is only two Harry Potter things in there. One of them is a Harry Potter journal, which she can't use because she can't write. And the other one is like a plaster cast of Hermione that you paint. And she's like, let's go into the Harry Potter shop. I'm like, it's not a Harry Potter shop. It has 2 Harry Potter things. We are not buying them because we have already bought 1 billion Harry Potter things. We went to the goddamn studio tour. We do not need a paint a Hermione, like, little plaster cast. And you can't use the journal anyway.
Yeah. Yeah, despite our best intentions of not making every day like a treat day. Every day.
I keep saying to him, like, you don't get a toy every single day. And yet, for some reason, every single day she gets something.
I was talking to Gabby earlier today. I was messaging about some stuff. And she's like, how's the Blu-ray buying going? I'm like, I think I'm at like 21. Like, and I was like, I just did an order online. I've been to HMV like 3 times in 2 weeks.
Do you know how many things I've bought for myself?
Very little.
Very little. I bought a pair of shorts in Italy. I bought a pair of pants, a t-shirt, and a jacket. And the pants and the jacket were from an op shop. Literally, it cost me like £14 together altogether.
Yeah.
The t-shirt was from Primark. It cost £3. And then I've bought tiny little bits like pins and badges and things like that from the Harry Potter and Disney store. I had basically nothing for myself.
Well, it's hard for you to buy Harry Potter stuff when you've already bought all the Harry
Potter stuff. And the other thing is that I don't know. When we went to the Harry Potter studio tour, I looked around at the gift shop and I was like, I don't want anything that's here. And I was like, but you know what? I'll get that for Zoe. Oh, I'll get that for Zoe. Oh, should Zoe get this? Oh, Zoe should get that. I'm buying more things for her than I am for me, for the fun of it. But yeah, I kind of like looked around the gift shop there and I was just kind of like, I don't know, everything's a bit meh. And the only things that I really liked, I couldn't bring home with me.
Yeah.
You know, so I was just like, oh well, it's like how I wanted to buy a cuckoo clock when we were in Switzerland. I was like, how the fuck am I going to bring that home?
Yeah, that's true. We went to that store.
I'm glad I didn't buy a cuckoo clock because they were like 200 Swiss francs or whatever.
Yeah. I was just thinking that was the store we went to and they had the dog that looked exactly like Loki.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm not a big Harry Potter merch guy either. Like,
Oh, I'm a big Harry Potter merch person. I
think you were. I don't know if you are anymore. Like...
I think what's happening, and this is dangerous, I think what's happening is that my taste in merch is becoming more refined and therefore more expensive. Because
Explain.
So there was one of the stores that we went into, they had like this display cabinet of all of these like really expensive, beautiful, like cast iron or whatever, like figurines and bookends and wall plaques. And I was like, oh my God, I want all of those things. But I don't need another Slytherin jumper, I have them. I don't need a Slytherin beanie, I have it. I don't need another magnet or a fucking 700th journal.
It's like
I never write in any of them.
Pokemon Lacrusette set. You're a grown-up collector now.
Yeah. And so I think that's becoming the problem. The problem is I don't need the stuffed toys. I don't need any of that. But I'm like, ooh, those like Gryffindor and Slytherin bookends, they're really nice. Ooh, that Slytherin
And we have no
plaque.
shelf space for them because our bookshelves are like...
And they would weigh a ton in our suitcase as well. So I'm like, no.
Yeah, I was going to pace myself, and as I said, I'm at 21. By the end of next week, I'll have at least 23 Blu-rays that I've bought already. So.
But I think the other thing is that because it's so easily accessible. Like that's the thing. 10 years ago, if you wanted to buy something from the Harry Potter Studio Tour, you had to go to the Harry Potter Studio Tour.
Yeah.
Whereas now, you can just buy it online. And if you don't get it at the Harry Potter Studio Tour, you can get it from Platform 9 3/4. You can get it from, you can get it from anywhere. So, like, that's why I wasn't like, you have to get a wand right now, Zoe. Because I know that there's, like, 7 places where she can get a wand.
Do you remember when she was cuddling and wanted to buy the stuffed train?
Yes. And then she was crying because we said, well, just wait because you might see other things that you want.
I will say, like, her reaction to the train in real life was amazing.
Yeah.
Like, she squealed.
Yeah.
Like, that was her first fangirl moment.
Yeah, that was
which is
really
very cool.
good. That was really good.
But let's go back to stuff you've watched, because we'll definitely...
Yeah, sorry.
We're going to talk Potter, because we're going to talk about the studio tour, and I imagine... I've been asking you a lot of semantic adult questions about Harry Potter. I want to say adult, I don't mean sexy. I mean, like, how does this function in the real world? Like, tell me about the certificate, like the births and deaths and marriages office and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So I imagine some of that chatter will come up again. But I know we watched a couple of documentary series on Netflix. We watched the TikTok cult one.
Oh, yes, we did. And we watched the Ashley Madison one as well. So, TikTok death cult. Not death cult. Dance cult. Dance cult. That was really weird. And I don't mean weird in the sense of, well, of course it's going to be weird because whoever thinks of, like, TikTok as being in a cult. No, that wasn't the weird thing about it. The weird thing about it was that there was a legitimate story about, like, rape and sex trafficking within the... Not sex trafficking. No. Like, sexual abuse.
And I would say slavery.
Yeah, that sort of thing. Within this cult. And then it is also juxtaposed with these TikTokers who are also part of the current iteration of the cult, because that was the past iteration of the cult.
Was it like Robert Shin or something?
Yes, that's right. So Robert Shin, he's like a pastor. I always feel weird saying pastor because I'm not American. It's not a pastor. So I say pastor, like is...
He's like a priest.
Yeah, he's a priest.
He's like a church leader.
And like in the, what was it, 90s? 80s.
He ran a church.
Yeah, he ran a church.
And like, a bunch of like kind of Korean immigrant, I think it was Korean, like immigrants, like kind of flocked to the church, and they'll talk about how like if you're a Korean immigrant, like you find Catholicism because you have no community, like, and that's why you see like something like Korean churches and stuff. And he ran it, and then like him and this other woman ran it, and then it turned out there was some serious
the family, the whole family.
Yeah, the whole family. And then like years later in the 2010s, like his son like was like involved with some dances and stuff. He's like, oh, we'll come up with this like entertainment management company, and then it was
combined with this religious.
It was like they were very much like grooming them. And
what's it called, like Shakana or something like that? Shaka Khan.
It was like Shekinah or something?
Shekinah, yeah, that's what it is, Shekinah. And so there's like 2 versions, basically. So there's the modern version, and that's what it starts off with, because the whole documentary is about these TikTok dancers in a cult, basically.
And
so
are they aware?
And are they aware that they're in a cult?
Victims, like they're not like cult.
And they're all, majority of them are like, dude, we're not in a cult. And obviously majority,
like
I would say,
we're just crumping.
Yeah, all of the ones that are being interviewed are like, oh man, it was totally a cult and I got out.
Yeah.
So the first 2 episodes are about these TikTok dancers and what Shekinah is and how it like sucked them in and how it then all of a sudden became this message about God, and they were like, yeah, that's cool. And then it turned into this message of like, you know, you got to disassociate yourself from your family completely, cut them off completely in order to get into heaven and all this kind of stuff like that.
It was very predatory as well, which these things always are, but it's interesting, like...
And that's...
Because I was like, what's the connection? Because I'm going to be honest here, like, there's no wrong art form, there's no bad art form, but if there's an art form I'm probably least interested or impressed by, it is dance. Like, every now and then, like, if I see dancing at a show, or, like, dancing in a movie, I'm like, cool, but, like, I don't really, like, I was never... into the idea of so you think you dance, because like I'm not gonna like it's not like with Australian Idol, American Idol, we're like, oh, and then I can go and see Kelly Clarkson in concert. Like, I'm not going to go see, like, Be Ready or whatever his name was, like, in his dance concert. Like, it's not the same sort
but
of thing.
I think that's because it's not your thing.
No,
it's
but
other people's
But I
thing.
also think it's... absolutely, it's not my thing, of course. But also, it's not the same sort of thing. Like, you don't really go... It's not like, you know, you say, like, billboards are posted around, be like, and then get ready for the dance concert. Like,
I'm going to tell you something now. You will be really surprised.
Yeah.
So, like, at my school, for example, there's a dance club. And there's obviously dance as a subject. But when we do, like, Cultural Diversity Week, when we do any event, dancing is basically what everyone does. There will be like one or two people who sing.
No, I know what you're saying.
And the rest
but what I'm saying is...
but the teenagers and the youth are obsessed with dancing. And it's not just TikTok dancing. Like, some of this dancing that these girls do at school is phenomenal.
Well, that's the next thing I was going to say is, like, you know, like, because when I saw it was the TikTok dance code, I'm like, what, those idiots who just, like, sway their arms around?
Yeah.
And I was like, that's not dancing. And I looked at this, like, these guys were
We're dancers.
really good dancers.
Yes, and like one of them like danced for Beyonce. Like, they are professional
But
dancers.
one thing that, like, because it's a serious documentary, and, like, one thing, like, you were kind of getting towards it where, like, there was this whole other story about these two Korean sisters.
Yeah, I want to get onto this bit.
Which, like, I was like, that girl's the real hero of this show.
Well,
but the one thing that really annoyed me with this, it was almost like they didn't have enough content
Yeah.
for each episode.
So they created these interstitials.
Where, like, someone
Of,
would, like,
like,
tell you sort of, like,
dancing.
oh, my pain, and then
But
they're,
this
like,
is
doing, like,
so
a dance
this
tribute
is
to
the
their
problem.
pain.
This is the problem that I have with the documentary. The first two episodes are all about the TikTokers, and
There's
then
a little bit of the
there's a
Korean
little
sisters in the
bit,
second one.
and then all of a sudden you get introduced to, like, in episode 3, I think it is. Like, you get introduced to this past of Shekinah and how these sisters were basically sexually abused and raped for years. And then it is cut in between. So that story is cut in between the TikToker's story. And it's like the way that it's edited is to make it seem like what happened to the TikTokers is just as bad as what happened to the girls who were raped and sexually abused.
We don't know, because there was that one girl who had been dating the guy and then they broke up.
Yes.
And she was like, you know, I got out. But she was kind of cagey about it. And I think it's because, like, there's a trial pending, so she couldn't say everything.
So that's fine. But it just felt really weirdly edited. And I'm like, I wanted to know about, the Korean girl's story. I'm like, that is the story. That is the thing that is driving this. I don't give a shit about these TikTok dancers.
Yeah.
Like, I came into that because I was like, oh, this will be like some fun bullshit. And then all of a sudden you're throwing this sexual abuse story at me. Like, what is this documentary? It's either a sexual abuse documentary or it's a fucking TikTok dancers documentary. Like, I just felt like they didn't know what they were doing. And it felt really jarring to me to feel sympathy for the TikTokers who were sucked into this cult.
Chasing clout. Like, let's be honest.
Yes,
like,
I'm
not saying like I'm not saying like that they weren't victims. Of course they were, but like they got involved because they're like, we're gonna be famous.
That's right. Because that's the thing that they want.
Whereas this woman was like, I have abusive parents and I have to be my sister's mother.
And I don't want to go to hell.
I just want to connect with. Yeah, well, it wasn't that to begin with. It was just like, I just want to connect with people, and then this predator's like, oh, I'll take care of you.
Full on psychological abuse. And like these TikTokers at any point in time, because they're not being held captive. Well, it's not held captive.
There
is brainwashing.
Yeah.
But ultimately, if they wanted to, they could literally get up and turn around and drive away.
Yeah, it wasn't like the Keep It Sweet one where they were like locked under.
Exactly.
We've watched a lot of cult documentaries.
Yeah. And so it was just like, I don't know what the fuck the editor is doing.
Yeah, I think like, because the Korean sisters did get introduced in the second episode. I think the younger sister got introduced in the first episode.
Yeah.
The older sister was interested in the second episode, and I remember like during the second episode, I think like it was when the younger sister was like, I got away but my sister stayed, and I was like, man, like the older sister, like she's so problematic, and like I was not a fan of her. And then the third episode, I was like, oh, like
Yeah.
she's the hero of
Yeah.
this story.
Yeah.
Like, and there's that really like weird scene where she goes back to Korea and like she confronts her father for them.
Yeah.
And I was like, jeez.
And the conversation, see, that's the thing. The conversations that these sisters have are so unscripted. They
Yeah.
are so real. Like, there's that one scene where they're like in a cafe together.
The birthday party.
The birthday party, and one
at the
sister's
start
talking
of
about.
it, I was like, the younger sister's right, man. Like, you need to be there. And then, like, I was like, nope, younger sister's not right. You're right. I apologize.
And then you have an interstitial of a TikToker dancing is my life, and I don't know what I'd do without it. And like, it's
I'm
the
not gonna
place
let
where
this
I'm free,
cult-
and I'm not gonna let this. I'm
cult
not gonna
ruin
let this
my
cult.
dancing
And I'm
dreams.
like, a woman was raped for 10 years.
Yeah, it was messed up.
So I.
It was a tough documentary as well because, like, most documentaries either, like, uncover the truth and provide closure
Yeah.
or are, like, years later and, like, tell
Yeah.
the full story. But this is still pending, so, like, it was a really frustrating documentary to watch because she got to the end and I'm like, well, there's no resolution
No.
because the girl who this is about, the girl who, like, we haven't even talked about her, like, the two American sisters, and it isn't... Like, you feel for that family, but it's also not the most interesting part of the story. Like, it seems like... Oh, my God.
Oh yeah, because we're staying in this apartment that's on like the second.
We're on the third
The
floor.
third floor, thank you. We can feel all the rumblings of the people underneath us
Yeah, the
and
whole
above us,
floor.
and the whole floor like shakes. That's what I was telling. I don't think I told you last night. I was trying to go to bed at like 1:00 in the morning. Like the whole floor shook.
Oh, yeah, I've dealt with that almost every night because
Yeah.
the people in this apartment, like, when I work overnights, people's going up and down the stairs all night. I'm like, what are you doing?
Yeah,
What are you doing? Just go to bed.
go to sleep.
Yeah, like, because the court case is still pending, I'm just like, I have no closure, so are you going to do a part 2, like, next year
Yeah,
after
and
the
like
trial?
the
Like,
the
what's gonna-
main sister that this is about, the one who is stuck in the quote unquote cult, basically. I have to say quote unquote because she's like, it's not a cult. I've just found God,
Yeah.
and my family can't accept that. But then, nothing at the end. Nothing happens.
Yeah, that was the other thing, like, every single person who got stuck in the cult was, like, looking for, like, to reconnect with Jesus, and, like, trying to keep my personal feelings out of it too much, like, whenever, I don't know, I feel like religion complicates a lot of things,
Yeah.
and, like, I don't know, like, that's how, I was just sitting there, I'm like, maybe you guys are just dumb.
But you know what was also really disappointing was like you heard evidence. You heard the police officer on the phone be like, the more people who come forward and say that they were sexually abused by Robert Shin, the more they have a case. And so all these girls come forward, all these women come forward, the sisters finally come forward. Nothing's happened.
Well, there is a case against him, like, he's been taken to trial next year.
I don't think it was for sexual abuse. I think it was for something else.
I don't know, because that was happening, I think that
Because
happened
it was,
after
didn't
the
she
documentary.
say she couldn't, she was taking him to court for like retain, like being held captive or something like that. I can't remember.
Maybe it's
I can't
like
remember, but I
Capone,
don't
like-
think it was sexual
Like
abuse.
Al Capone, like, got caught on tax evasion.
Yeah,
or whatever,
yeah,
wasn't
yeah,
it? Like,
yeah,
maybe
that's
it's
right,
I think
exactly.
they're like, look, doesn't matter what we get him on. Like, let's just
It's
get
like
him.
what happened with Bruce Lerman.
And then we watched the
Ashley
Madison
Madison one.
documentary, which was was fascinating, but also really frustrating. It's just
I
like,
thought it was so funny.
I liked the
The
guy
big guy with the glasses.
who fell into
Yeah.
the pool. Yeah.
Yeah.
Who, like, we didn't know was gay until, like, way into the first episode, and then, like, as soon as they told us, I'm like, how do we not know? Like, how do we not put it together? Like, he's clearly gay, but he was my favorite person in the entire documentary. Like, he was great. Yeah, I don't think we really knew what to expect with this one. Like, well, we're going to hear about people, like, cheating.
Well,
on this.
I'd seen the trailer and I was like, oh, this is going to be really interesting because the whole time I'm going to be like, because the trailer was mainly focused around that YouTube guy.
Yeah.
And I was like, this is going to be hilarious because the entire time I'm watching it, I'm just going to be like, well, that's what you get.
Yeah, this was also a very annoyingly edited documentary because as soon as like something juicy would come up about that guy, because his story was definitely the most interesting.
Yeah.
Because he had the most to lose.
Yeah.
Like he had this like beautiful wife, by the way. Like
Yeah.
she was so like lovely and friendly, but like, and he had this like lovely family and stuff. And, like whenever like something's about to go, like oh let's jump to something that you definitely don't care about.
Yeah.
Like all I cared about was his story and like the CEO's story because that was fascinating.
The CEO story was really interesting as well.
But then like it got way.
No, but I also thought the actual creation of the web, I thought all that sort of stuff was really interesting.
Oh, that's
so
what
I thought
meant.
the hacking was really interesting.
Oh, yeah, really? The
And,
hacking
like,
team? They're like, we're from Sweden
Yeah,
and we're
yeah.
going to get these bad guys.
But also just like the creation of the website, the advertising of the
That
website.
was great,
That
yeah.
was really interesting to see. Like, because when Ashley Madison was not first starting, but really getting big, I think we were like in
High school.
high school, that's
Yeah.
right, or like finishing high school.
I think
And
they
I'd
said,
heard
the website was created in like 2001 and it was like around 2004, 2005 where
Yeah.
that CEO guy like stepped in.
Yeah. And I remember hearing when I was in school, hearing the website Ashley Madison and like knowing that it was a dating website that was for cheating. And I was like, well, that's shit. And like I'd known of it, but it never sort of like, obviously, like why it's not tailored for me.
A high school student
High school student.
who's not yet 18.
Yeah, exactly.
I've got pins and needles in my foot.
But yeah, I thought that whole aspect was really, really interesting. Like the creation of the website, the ideal, the people who worked there, and their whole ethos as to why they were working there and,
Honestly,
and stuff.
like,
I thought that was really interesting.
I was like, that sounds like a really fun place to work.
Oh, I would think it would be it would be horrible if you're in customer service. Because remember what the woman was saying about how like she would have wives calling up saying, "What's this charge on my husband's on our credit card?"
yeah, and she was saying
and
like
they'd have to lie because they obviously like discretion is their number one thing.
I imagine like maybe this wouldn't be fun actually now that I think about it, but like I imagine working there is like Wolf of Wall Street, like you know,
Yeah.
like do you know what I mean? Like it's
Yeah,
probably like that.
yeah.
We got another one, like yeah.
And then so it follows like this YouTube guy who turns out that is a YouTube family account because they did that famous Frozen song in the car.
Yeah.
Which I was like, when we saw it, I was like, I remember that.
I didn't remember.
I remembered that because I was like, oh, that's so good. And then we started singing it in the car. I was like, oh, I had no idea that he was that guy. And that was their marriage and stuff.
By the way, still married.
Yeah. Well, see, that's the thing. So that's what I don't understand, because what happens is that in, like, the second episode or something, I think, was it 4 episodes?
3 episodes.
3 episodes. So, like, in the first episode or the second episode, he's like, I signed up for Ashley Madison. I never met up with anybody. I never had sex with anybody. And so I then deleted the app, and that was that. And then, like, the last episode, he goes, so there's more to tell you. Like, he's talking to his wife. I've been seeing escorts for years. I've been having affairs on you for years. He's been fucking around this entire time. And I'm like, oh, so you lied in the documentary. Like, he didn't lie, but he didn't, like, he divulged the truth later.
I feel like for the documentary, they were like, hey, like, to build suspense, like, let's, like, you know, say that it wasn't, you know, and then obviously you can, then you can really, I feel that was probably a creative choice.
But it's like,
I felt like, honestly, like, when, like, he called, because there's that scene where he's like, I have to call my priest and, like, talk to him about, like, all this stuff. And I was like, is he about to, like, admit that he's been having, like, gay affairs? Like, that's what I thought.
That's what I thought too.
But it's just like a regular old scumbag. I was like, okay. Because I was like, oh, well, if he was, like, suppressing these because he's religious and he didn't know what to do, so he's having, like, I'm like, look, it's not excusable, but at least I'm like, okay,
It's
like,
more understandable.
I'm like, I get it. He feels trapped in a marriage because he doesn't identify as straight, and
Yeah.
like his religion is kind of making him push
yeah,
it down.
and so
I would be like, look,
he would hide, like, that's the thing.
I can see why he would utilize.
Yes,
a
that's
platform
exactly
like
right.
that.
But
I
it's like,
get that.
no, he just wanted to fuck around.
Yeah.
Like, that's all it was.
And do you remember, like, there was that woman, and we're like, oh my god, shut up. Like, she's like, if you're too busy, she's like, he was watching TV, so I went out and, like, had an affair.
Yeah.
And then, like, there was
There was
like,
another
the
guy.
Avengers, like, twist where it
Yeah,
turns out,
it
like,
turns
she's
out
married
they're
to the
both,
other
yeah,
guy.
that's right, exactly.
Like, oh, they're together, what a twist.
That was a really good twist.
Yeah, that one at least had some closure and stuff, that documentary.
Yeah, that's right.
But I don't know, like, that was also, like, I don't know how you felt, but I was like, this is a bit of, like, it was a weirdly uncomfortable watch for me, because I was like, this is getting too, like, dirty laundry for me. Like, I'm not a big fan of, like, dirty laundry. Like, I don't, like, I'm not big on, like, celeb goss and stuff like that, or, like, knowing people's private lives. I don't mind, give me tell me a little bit, but I was like, oh, man, this is, like, an endurance test. It's
Yeah.
like and then, like, all these horrible things about, like, how people, like, committed suicide because...
That, oh my god, that was really, sad.
So those are two documentaries that we watched. That's your phone.
Yeah.
Have you watched anything else that we didn't watch together? Because I think that's
Yeah.
the last thing. That
I'm currently watching The Traitors UK.
Mm-hmm.
So I just started that a couple of nights ago. It's a show that I've wanted to watch for a while because I've heard James Acaster and Ed Gamble talking about it.
That's his urban character.
Yeah. And I was like, oh, I'll give it a try. It is really addictive.
Is it kind of like The Mole? Is that... Do you remember that
I
show?
never watched The Mole.
Neither did I, but, like...
It's basically the gay mafia.
Okay.
Yeah. Do you know Mafia?
No.
Okay. So Mafia is like a not a board game, just a
Like a
group
party game?
A party, thank you, that's
Yeah.
the word. A party game where it's like everybody goes to sleep. You secretly like squeeze the hand or like I played in drama, but I played with cards.
Yeah.
Sort of thing like that. So if you get the card that says that you are the mafia and then the rest of the cards are like victims, every single night you then choose someone that you want to kill, basically. Okay. And so then in the morning, that person is killed off.
Oh, this is what the movie Bodies is about.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then everybody has to try and figure out who the mafia is.
Yeah.
So then they'll be like, James, I think it's you. And they banish you.
It's basically
and then
Cluedo,
yeah. And then you reveal whether or not you were the mafia, sort of thing like that. But obviously there's a prize. There's £120,000 at risk. So what happens is that it's great because it's set in Scotland. So it's set in this Scottish castle in the Highlands. So all of the footage, like they showed like the Glenfinnan Viaduct and everything like that. It was amazing. So all these, like, I think it's like 12 people come to this castle. Claudia Winkleman is hosting it. And it's brutal because I'm not a reality TV person. Like, I will watch Bake Off, I will watch Sewing Bee, and sometimes for trash, I will watch episodes of Kardashians, and that's it.
Yeah.
I don't watch fucking MasterChef. I don't like the competition thing. I don't like the, this is what I like do in my everyday life. It's really boring. I don't go for that. But because this has so many like twists and stuff like that, I actually find that when I watch it, my anxiety and my stress levels are so high, I can't sleep afterwards because I'm like, what's going to happen next? I need to know what's going to happen next. So anyway, like Claudia Winkleman like brings them all, and she goes, I want you to all get in a line from person who is most likely going to win to person who is least likely going to win the competition, right? So they all line up, and she goes to the last two people. So you guys think you're least likely going to win? And they're like, yeah. And she goes, cool, get out. And she just leave the competition. She kicks them out. And everybody's like, what the fuck? She's like, yeah, this is Traitors. It's brutal. So basically what happens is that the traitor hasn't been picked yet. Claudia Winkleman in a series of like, I know I've used this word many times this episode already, but in a series of interstitials.
Like
You
on
can
the flies or whatever.
Yeah,
where she's
yeah,
like
yeah.
in the-
And she's like interviewing some of the people as to why they need this £120,000 and stuff like that. And then you have the talking heads of the people. You have a little bit of footage of them getting to know each other because everybody's on the same level at this point in time, right? And then she sits everybody down and it's very witchy. Like the traders wear cloaks and carry lanterns and they're going through a haunted castle.
It's like Hot Fuzz.
Yes,
Yeah,
it is exactly like that. So anyway,
Bushy beard.
she literally like, it's just like my drama class. They all sit down, they're all blindfolded, except I just get my students to close their eyes. She goes past and she goes, if I squeeze your shoulder, you're the traitor. So she picks 3 traitors. And the thing that really frustrated me is like, if I was in the show, I'd be like, how many traitors did you pick?
Yeah.
Because you don't know how many traitors if you're in the show, you don't know if there's one traitor that you're looking out for or 17 sort of thing.
They're all the
So
traitors.
she picks 3 traitors and everybody else are faithfuls, right? And then what they do is they complete a series of tasks. And when you complete the series of tasks, you're all working together as a team. So it's not traitors versus faithfuls. The traitors aren't trying to sabotage anything, because what ends up happening is if the faithfuls, I think I've got to get this right, if the faithfuls successfully vote out the traitors or something like that, then it's basically the last faithful step, or they split the money. I can't remember what happens. But if a traitor wins, then the traitor wins everything. Sort of thing like that. So you want to be a traitor.
Yeah.
So when they're doing like these little like activity tasks, it's all together. It's not like verses or anything like that. And then all the little tasks will go into like a prize pool. So like, for instance, last night's one was they were on this like, they were strapped to this wheel that was spinning around. So they were like on this fairground wheel going upside down, and they had to answer questions. And then the other group had to answer the question as well. And if both people got the same answer, like the newlywed game,
Newlywed Game,
then you won £100 per answer, sort of thing like that.
So the pool of
So it goes into a
£120,000 can go higher.
No, I think it can go lower, because if you get the answer wrong, for example, if you run out of time before, sort of thing like that. So I think the pool can go down.
Okay.
I don't think the pool can go up, but I don't know because I haven't finished it yet.
Yeah.
And then basically the traders, like, they do all that during the day, and then you have all the people like gossiping, going, oh, who do you think's a traitor? I think it's this person because this person said that thing and they were looking at me funny and blah, 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 blah. And then the traders come at night and they vote who they want to kill off, sort of thing. And then the next morning, when everybody goes down to breakfast, one of them isn't going to be there.
Sure.
So then they have to sort of be like, shit, Johnny isn't here. The traders killed him, sort of thing. And then they all have to sit at this round table later on during the day after they've had their discussions and things, and go and accuse each other and be like, I think James is the traitor because he was asking me lots of questions about what I did.
Does the audience know who the traitors are?
Yes.
Okay.
And so the traders also can't kill each other off. So they have to work together to defend each other. Like if you, James, are a traitor and I, Tina, am a traitor, but Zoe is a faithful, and Zoe's talking to somebody else going, I think James is, like Zoe's talking to me going, I think James is a traitor. I have to be like, what? James? No, silly. Sort of thing. It's really good because there's just, lots of like twists and turns, and I'm only up to episode 3 or 4 maybe, but because each episode ends right before they tell you who's been killed off, you got to watch the next episode to figure out who's been killed off. And because all the people have their own little secrets. So one of the secrets is that 2 of the faithfuls in the castle are actually dating, and the girl is like oh my god, it's so sad because like the girl's like 20, like I don't know, 23 or something like that, and there's another boy who's not her boyfriend who has a major crush on her. And he's like, dude, she could be my future wife. And it's like, she's dating another guy in the castle. And it's just like interesting to learn little bits and pieces. It's funny to see them like j'accuse and all that sort of stuff like that. And you're like, no, it's actually this person. And it's really good.
Nice.
Yeah.
Very cool. And that's what you've been watching? You've watched
That's I've just been watching reruns of other things,
Yeah,
haven't
you
I?
haven't watched any movies though.
I don't think so.
That's right, except for Harry Potter.
Yeah.
Oh my god, so much Harry Potter. I have only watched, since the last episode I recorded, I've only watched 1.5 movies. I finished watching the Ministry of Ungentlemanly Warfare, which is the latest Guy Ritchie film. Really good. It was a recommendation from the boys on Movie Boners, and it was a great recommendation. It's basically like this World War II film directed by Guy Ritchie, based on a true story about like this kind of like secret plan to take down, to stop the Nazis. Basically, as part of one of the. So basically, it was right before the Americans joined the war, and the reason was the Americans couldn't join the war because of the U-boats. Like the U-boats were like, the German fleet.
Yeah.
And basically, like, they were so powerful that, like, the Americans couldn't join by water. Like, it would just take them out, so they couldn't join the war. So, like, Churchill, like, created this secret mission, and he was talking to, like, this guy who's, like...
Wait, is this real?
This is real.
Okay,
real.
yeah.
This ex-army guy was like, look, I need you to go in there, like, by any means necessary and destroy these boats. It's off the record. The UK won't know you're involved. No one's going to know who you are, so if you get caught and captured by either side, like, you're basically stuffed.
Yeah.
And he, like, assembles this team of, like, you know, mercenaries, whatever, and they go through and, like, they, try
destroy these U-boats. Or
well,
try to.
Yeah, I won't spoil it for you, because I think you'd really like it.
Yeah, I probably would.
Henry Cavill, like, plays the lead.
Oh, nice.
And the guy that he plays apparently was one of the main inspirations for the character James Bond, because he was, like, friends with Ian Fleming.
Wow. Cool.
So he's in it. Alan Richardson's in it, who played Hawk in the Titans show. He's, like, just this huge, massive dude.
And is it in the Guy Ritchie style as well?
I would say it's pretty, like, it's more, like, I think of, like, a lot of smash cuts, like, in the editing, like, not quite like Edgar Wright, but similar, and it's a lot more restrained in the editing, but it plays more like, probably a bit more like Kingsman, like that kind of tone, which is done by Matthew Vaughn, but obviously they used to work together. It's got Isa Gonzalez. She's been in a bunch of stuff. She was like one of the girls in Baby Driver, and a few other people as well. But it's really entertaining. Like, it's a really good World War II film. But like fun.
Yes.
And it's
like how Inglourious Basterds is fun.
It feels like a bit of a companion piece to Inglourious Basterds, although this is true and Inglourious Basterds wasn't. Yeah. But it's funny you mention that, because in Inglourious Basterds, do you remember the character Hugo Stiglitz, like the German who hates Nazis? He's in it as a Nazi, as a villain. Yeah, it was really good, really, really fun. So I watched the end of that, and like, it has like one of those moments, like, because it's kind of like a heist film, because they're trying to infiltrate, and like when they get to, where are they go to, I want to say it's like Cuba or something, I could be wrong, I can't remember where they go, but they go somewhere where it's meant to be like a little hideout for the Nazis, and there's only meant to be like 50 of them, and there's like 200 Nazis there, and you're like, oh my god, how are they gonna get through this? And then there's like kind of, they're playing fast and loose with the undercover stuff, and are they going to get busted? Yeah, so like you kind of see that, like you've seen that, like you've seen that Inglourious Basterds and other things like that as well. Like, when do you remember like when the actress gets caught, like with her broken leg? Like, there's a scene a lot like that. I was like, oh my god, like, I hope they get through this.
Kind of like Argo, get on the plane.
Yeah, get on the plane. And then the other movie I watched was Hitman. I finally watched Hitman.
Yeah, I wanted to watch that for a while.
I've been wanting to watch it for at least a month, because when we landed in Italy, it was on Netflix, and then I watched a couple other movies first. I was like, right, I'm going to sit down and watch Hitman, and then it was just gone, and it wasn't on Italian Netflix, it wasn't on French Netflix, and then in London, we didn't have time to watch anything, we were just so tired all the time. So I finally checked it out the other night, and I finished it today. So it's the new Richard Linklater film, and this is also based on a true story, and the story is that basically there was this, like, psychology teacher I think it's in the 70s. This movie's just set in the present day, but like, so he was like this psychology teacher, and he ended up working with the police. So he started off like just helping them with some character profile stuff, but then when their undercover guy like got in trouble, like we need someone to fill in, so he would like pretend to be a hitman, and then would talk to people who were looking to hire a hitman. It was a sting operation. So like once like there was an exchange of money, they would like the police would roll out and bust
and be
him.
like,
And like
yeah, that's right.
But in this story, and I don't know if this happened in the, because they didn't quite clarify, like he goes to this one, it's very early on, it's not really a spoiler, like he goes to this hit meetup with this girl, and basically he's like, deliberately screws up the sting because like he can tell she wouldn't really be a killer, she's just trapped in like this really horrible marriage where this guy's really controlling and all sorts of things. And like if she goes to prison, like she'll ruin her life. She's really young, but he like discourages her from completing the hit. They can't arrest her, and then she can just run away and escape. So he kind of like does that, and gets into like a little bit of trouble for it, but it's not really big. Like, look, just don't do it again.
Yeah.
But then like they fall in love and they start having this kind of like sexual relationship because she really thinks he is a hitman. So he keeps pretending that he's a hitman.
Yeah.
Because everyone's like, wait, so much more confident as this hitman. So he kind of plays into that character. But because she thinks he's a hitman, she's like, well, I can't come to your house and I can't like go on dates with you and stuff. So we can just have like this very like kind of torrid affair or whatever while I kind of piece my life back together, and then like things spiral out of control from there. But it's got Glenn Powell, who's been like, he's blowing up now. Glenn Powell, like he was Chad Radwell in Scream Queens. Do you remember like the
I can't picture the face, but I can't.
But he was in Anyone But You with Sydney Sweeney. He was in Top Gun Maverick recently. He's been in a bunch of stuff. Like he's blowing up in a big bad way. He even like helped develop the screenplay.
Oh wow.
But he's really good in it. I can't remember the actress's name, but I just saw her in Father of the Bride that I watched on the plane. She was like the daughter getting married and that. She was really good in it. Retta from Parks and Rec, she's like...
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, like she was one of Undercover People. Like she was working with the Stings. And I think they were like kind of the main kind of actors that you would know. But it's really fun. I like it didn't review too well. I was reading reviews on IMDb and people were like, oh, it's just another typical rom-com, like, don't trust the trailers. I was like, what are you talking about? This is so entertaining. Yeah. I was like, it's so entertaining.
Yeah.
And like it's not a typical, like how many rom-coms have you seen with hitmen in them? Like,
I thought it was a Ryan Reynolds movie.
No.
I thought Ryan Reynolds was the main guy.
No. Ryan Reynolds was in Red Notice, is that what you're thinking of?
I don't know. Never mind.
Deadpool?
No, I know he's in Deadpool.
The Proposal?
No.
But yeah, no, it's really good. I just finished watching it today. When you called me, like, because you went to the park and you're like, hey, we're to hang out. I'm like, I've just gone back from cutting home from the shops. I was just finishing that movie. But no, really entertaining. And again, I think you'd really enjoy it as well. Yeah, so that's all I've watched. I've just watched that 1.5 movies. Because since we got to Scotland, we haven't had a lot of downtime, and we only had free-to-air TV, which is fine, but there's not a lot of movie channels, so I had to buy a Chromecast. So I was like, let's get just so we have a bit more control over what we're watching, especially with Zoe, because there's only so much CBeebies I think she can handle. I think she like wants to watch Bluey, she wants to watch Harry Potter, and the Chromecast I bought is better than most of the ones we have back at home. So I was like, it's good.
So I have a question for you.
You have a question for me?
Yeah. So obviously one of the big things that we did was go to the Harry Potter London studio tours.
Yes.
As a person who is into movies, so obviously you're a Harry Potter fan, but like besides the whole, I got to see Hagrid's motorbike, wow. How did you find it as a person who is into movies and has knowledge about background in movies and what happens with like pre-production and production and post-production, and did you find anything that was particularly really interesting for you? Because we were supposed to go on our honeymoon and we didn't because of me forgetting to buy tickets.
Yeah.
So really like I came and bought tickets for you and Zoe. So I'd like to hear your thoughts as a movie person, guru.
It's interesting. Like, there's some stuff. I mean, obviously, I really enjoyed it. Like, that was cool. There's some things that like I enjoy more than others. I know a lot of people get a kick out of seeing like all the costumes, and like there were some costumes I really enjoyed seeing, but like I was like, oh, I needed to see Molly Weasley's costume. I'm so glad I saw Molly's. Like even I feel like because the focus also was Prisoner of Azkaban, like that was a lot of the costumes were from that movie and stuff like that as well. Like to me, the most interesting Harry Potter costumes are probably from the first two movies, because that's when they're actually wearing their uniforms. but seeing some, like, there were some props that were really cool. And like, they had like some sets, obviously. So, the Great Hall, like just the doors opening and like going into the Great Hall was really cool. That was awesome. I really liked that. Seeing the door to the Chamber of Secrets was really cool.
Yeah.
There were other ones which were cool. Like, it was cool seeing the Goblet of Fire, but like if I hadn't have seen it, I wouldn't have like, my heart wouldn't have broken or anything like that. Going to Gringotts, that was really cool because it was the entire Gringotts set. Like, that was insane. I think that's probably more interesting to me than the individual things, like going on to, because obviously they're not live sets anymore because it feels, but walking into it, like, it's because it's so much more immersive. Like, walking past, like, there's a hat, there's a thing, like, it's cool to see, but actually I think you're like, I'm very aware that I'm at a exhibition right now.
Yeah.
But walking into, the actual, the completed
the
set,
room.
you're like, okay, this is transformative. This feels like I'm here. This is cool. There were some exceptions, like going into, the platform 9 3/4, which obviously was decked out to look like it, but it wasn't a set. It was, they just put a train there, and because there was a shop. There was that. But seeing the train, that was really cool.
Yeah.
I know Zoe was like, what?
Yeah.
And then, like, seeing, like, the one thing that really frustrated me, like, I won't get into the details here, but, like, obviously I had a potential financial emergency in the middle of our tour, so that distracted me during some of the cool stuff. Like, I wish I had spent more time looking at the night bus. I wish I had spent more time paying attention inside the Dursley's house and stuff like that. But, no, I think being on the live sets was the coolest thing for me. I keep saying live sets, the full sets. Yeah. Because it was so immersive.
What did you think of all the things like the artistry stuff? So like, the concept art and the creature effects and like we walked up this ramp corridor, and it had like artist conceptions and things like that, and like what did you think of all that sort of stuff? And like visual effects and special effects and things.
The creature effects stuff was definitely very cool for me, because obviously being a fan of, not just, obviously I love pretty much everything that I watch, but like coming from a generation where that's how films were made, with the practical effects, it was cool seeing a lot of that, like seeing how it's conceptualized, and seeing like what they use, like seeing the model for Hagrid and seeing like the original, like that was one of the coolest things for me, was seeing a model of the original Voldemort face before they changed it.
Yeah, that's freaky.
Because I've seen the concept art for that before. I've seen that concept art. I'm like, oh, that's so cool. I 100% get why they didn't do it because the kids movie, but like, that is so cool. So seeing all that sort of stuff, we did kind of have to rush through the creature stuff just because there were some scary things in Zoe's 3. But no, it was cool. Like, I definitely like seeing all that. The concept art is one of those ones where I like concept art, but at the end of the day, there's nice, like, once I've looked at it, I'm like, all right, cool. Like, that's hundreds of.
So you're more interested in like the props and the sets and stuff like that.
I think this, like, as a fan of movies, like, to I guess answer the question you're asking, like, to be on the sets is probably the coolest thing, or the most exciting thing for me, because it's the closest I can be to being on a set. Again, like, seeing individual props on their own, it makes me understand, comments from people like, oh, well, I just was in front of a green screen all day. So I'm like, oh, that would be less cool. Like, if you're on I've used the word immersive so many times the last couple of minutes.
That's alright, I use interstitial.
But if you're on like a proper set, like with, it's been dressed properly and everything, like, that's definitely way more interesting and way more fun.
I liked how you could see the back of the sets, because things are just like sort of back onto each other. So you can see the back of the sets, and it's just like wood and plaster. And things like that, and you go, oh, that's like, you see the front of the set and it looks like marble, looks like fully complete stone, like weighs 40 tons marble. And you look at the back of it and it's just plaster.
Seeing like the Mirror of Erised was cool. That was probably one of the coolest props to see, because like obviously it's one of the oldest props, because from the first movie.
Because we didn't really break down your thoughts and feelings, because it was a long day.
Well, every day was long, because we got there on Sunday.
I think we spent 5 hours at Harry Potter Studio Tour.
No, we got there on
and that was not
we got to London on Saturday, and then Sunday, I can't remember what we did. Sunday, I think we went to like some food markets. Monday was our shopping day, which you know,
Well, it's on my phone.
we bought some wonderful things. I remember the schedule.
Yeah.
Monday we bought some wonderful things, but we just walked around London for so long. Tuesday was Harry Potter. Wednesday was something. Wednesday I think was the day I was sick. I think that was the day that
Yeah.
maybe. Thursday was Friday was the day I was sick. Thursday was Frozen. Friday was the day that I was sick and I stayed home.
Yeah.
Because you went to a market, and then Saturday we went to the Borough Market.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, we haven't really unpacked it because we're just so tired. That's the thing. Like, we're on holiday, but not really. Like,
Yeah.
there's so much moving around. Like, even now in Scotland, like, things have calmed down. But again, like I said before, it's calmed down. We're still doing 10,000 plus steps a
Yeah,
day.
that's right.
Because we're walking everywhere. But no, I really enjoyed it. It was cool seeing it all.
Yeah.
And the one thing we did talk about was like the quality of like people were like, you went and saw Stats. I'm like, yes, but the cafe. Like the quality.
Oh my god, the quality of food
was really
and
good.
the price was great. I said to you, I think the reason is because when they can afford to provide very good food at a reasonable price because they're having so many hundreds of thousands of people. Okay, maybe not hundreds of thousands, but tens of thousands of people going through those doors every single day.
Definitely thousands every day,
paying lots of money to pay for the tickets and stuff like that. So, and they don't want to have to deal with like complaints of bad food or whatever. But yeah, the food was fantastic. And I was surprised because we paid £7 for a butterbeer that came with the commemorative mug. So, that's almost 14 Australian dollars, about 13 Australian dollars. You'd pay that just for the mug.
Yeah.
Not even the butterbeer inside it.
Oh, butterbeer was so good.
It was so good.
That should just be like...
I loved the cream. It was bubbly.
Yeah, that should just be a staple of the UK's like beverages.
Yeah.
Because I'll be honest, like I'd say the most disappointing thing about the UK has been their drinks.
Yeah,
like,
their soft drinks.
They don't have a lot of selection.
No.
And the selection they do, like, a lot of it's zero sugar and it's so like artificial. It's like,
Yeah, like really
gross.
sweet.
So I've been drinking a lot of Coca-Cola, although I found some lemon squash, which was pretty good.
Oh, that's good.
I know the listeners are like, what alternatives to cola? Have you tried cordial? We're looking at that. So good question, listeners. The three of you that are left, because it's been just me talking to myself. But yeah, Harry Potter. I don't know if there's much more to say about Harry Potter Day. Like,
Yeah, I think that covered it. I just wanted to hear your thoughts.
I really enjoyed it. And you've been before, but you said there was some different stuff to last time. Is that right?
Yeah, the whole entrance is completely different.
Okay.
I went like 10 years ago.
Yes.
Literally 10 years ago. So they didn't have all the wands at the entrance. They only had the chess pieces.
That's like the big ones sticking out.
The whole entrance into the actual building, the theatre and the lifting of the screen, and now you go through the doors. That was all the same.
Did they
So
have
Great Hall.
the Horntail last time, or the big dragon last time?
I can't remember. I'm not sure. Not off the top. I can't remember off the top
It
of my
wasn't
head.
the Horntail,
I'd
I
have
think
to
it was
look
the-
through my
the-
photos.
Deathly Hallows Dragon, I think that's what it was.
Most of it, from what I remember, most of it was the same. There were a couple of set pieces that were new.
Forbidden Forest was new.
Forbidden Forest was new. And like, because I didn't see Buckbeak and Aragog before, I don't think.
You didn't see Aragog this time either.
No, because I stayed with Zoe, because
Yeah.
she didn't want to look at Aragog, which is fair enough.
She liked being in that flying car though.
Yeah.
She didn't want to get out, remember? She was like, we can stay here. It's like,
Yeah,
no, there's some
yeah.
people in line, you gotta...
Exactly. That whole backlot was exactly the same as last time. It was really busy when we went. When Mum and I went 10 years ago, it wasn't... I don't remember it being that busy.
Yeah, we found out on the bus ride over that it was like the first week of...
School holidays.
Summer holidays.
Yeah.
Because when we were walking around London and we went to shops and stuff like that, it was busy, but it wasn't crazy. Like
No, it wasn't.
we went to the
Oxford Street, it was...
Yeah, we went to the Disney store. Like, we were the only people in there for
Yeah.
the longest time. And like HMV, although it's physical media, so maybe that's why it wasn't busy.
Well, to be fair, we went when the stores first opened. But yeah, this Oxford Street was like really quiet.
Yeah. But the busiest place we went all day was Primark and McDonald's.
Yeah. Oh my God. I never want to buy McDonald's outside of Australia ever again. And it's not got to do with, it's got completely to do with the ordering system. I hate the ordering system overseas. Just go to the counter. Just go to the counter and order the food. I don't want to go to a fucking vending machine that declines my card. You know.
Even that's changing in Australia.
No, I know. The one at Carrum Downs is like got the little stupid things, but you can still go to the counter and order.
I will say, I don't know if we talked about this in the last episode you were on, but the one thing that has been universal across Europe, and not UK, there was a change, but in Europe, you cannot make a French fry.
No.
Oh my God! Like except for that one place in France.
Yes.
Where they made homemade one.
Those were really
all
good.
their frozen fries like taste so stale. I'm like, what's going on? Like, it's a chip. Like, how does it get a chip? And people are like, what about the culture? What about the... I'm like, but the fries, guys. It's ridiculous. Actually, the fries weren't too bad they weren't great, but they were fine in Switzerland. They were a little bit too underdone for my liking, but they were still better than everything else we had. And then we went and saw Frozen on stage.
Yes, we did.
Which I remember, like, the day of, because the day we went and saw Frozen was also the day I went and saw Deadpool and Wolverine that night. And you were like, you're looking forward to the show tonight? And I was like, which one? Because we went to two. And like, Frozen. And I was like, in my heart of hearts, I was like, this is for Zoe. Like, I'm sure I'll enjoy bits of it, but I've seen Frozen so often now. I've seen it so much. It's hard to get excited for this again. But show blew me away. Like, made me cry a bunch. Yeah. Which Frozen does do.
Yeah.
But like, I was shocked they could surprise me as much as they did. Cause I'm like, I've seen this movie so many times. And I knew going in, like, they're going to have new songs, because whenever Disney does a stage show, they add like 20 new songs that you don't know.
Yeah.
And I thought it was, I understand why, but I thought it was a bit rough where they're like, please refrain from singing along. And I was like, it's the most sung along to Disney movie of all time.
Yeah.
Like, this...
And the audience is full of like 4-year-olds
under the age of 10 who know the words and want you to know they know the words.
Yes.
But it was it was great.
It was really good. It was really amazing. It was Zoe's first theatre show. She did really well.
She was really good.
There was one period of time where after every song and everybody claps, she goes, "Is this the end?"
Yeah,
really loudly.
Can we go home now?
I'm like, no.
There's so much.
I think she was getting angry with being told to be quiet so many times.
And she was telling other people to be quiet. She's like, shh.
Yeah. But the look on her face when like Elsa was singing Let It Go and like the dress changed and there was this one point. Oh, that's right. It was where they're at the coronation ball. Yes. Like she's just been crowned queen, and Anna's gone off with Hans, and then she comes back, and then she has the argument with Elsa about Elsa's like, you can't marry a man that you just met. And Anna, grabs Elsa's hand and is like, "Why are you doing this? Why are you like this?" And she takes her glove. And you just hear Zoe go, "No!"
Yeah.
Like it was, she was so enthralled. She was just like, "Oh my God, no, what's going to happen next?" And then the ice came out. Just like...
Well, because she knows the story so well. She knows what happens when Elsa's glove comes off.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was really fun. Like,
that was so cute.
Yeah, I was like, she's in. This kid is in.
Yeah.
But that, like, all the effects they did, like with the ice shards and stuff, I was like, I don't know how they did that, because it's instant. It's so quick.
Yeah.
Like, it must be like spring loaded or something, but they're also sharp, so you're like, oh my God, like they're going to impale someone's eyes. Obviously Let It Go, and the transition from dress to dress, like, was really cool.
Yeah. But even little things like, she takes off the glove at the start of the song and it floats away.
Yeah.
And then she takes off her cape and it floats away. You never see the wires.
Yeah.
You don't see any of that.
And Olaf was obviously... I thought
Olaf was great.
The way they did Olaf was cool. Like, it's... Yeah. Because very clearly a man operating a puppet. But, like, they just have him...
At no point do you ever look at the man. You're always watching Olaf.
I watch it...
Like once or twice as the adult.
Yeah. But out of curiosity, I'm like, I want to see this guy's performance. But and we could tell, like, even though, like, he wasn't the focus of the puppet, what you could tell, he was, like, just 100% invested.
Yeah.
It's like, I am Olaf. Like,
Yeah.
we are one. The puppet and I are the same. One of the things I really liked about it was there was this one song where you're like, oh, that was really a bit dark. And there's this whole song about towards the end. Because in the movie, after Fix Her Upper, like the last half an hour of that movie, there's no songs.
Yeah, that's right.
But they're like, we'll add some, don't worry.
Yeah.
And they improved on the movie because they had a reprise where they did Let It Go Again. I'm like, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like, you should do that. So I like that. But there was this song, and she was basically like, if I can't get my powers under control, like maybe the world is better with me dead. Like, basically.
Yeah.
And it was really dark, but I was like, oh, I like this. It makes Elsa more interesting because in the movies, Elsa's like the buzzkill to me. I'm like, oh my god.
Yeah.
Like whenever she shows up, I'm like, oh, here we go. Like, get ready for your parade rained on. But that was a really cool song. And then she had like this armor suit, which I've never seen before.
Yeah,
It's not
that
in the
was
movies.
really cool.
I was like, I like this armor because it was like an icicle armor. I was like, this is awesome.
Yeah.
And the girl who played Anna was amazing.
She
I
was
thought
fantastic.
So funny. And like I think we talked about it. I'm like, there's some really like sexual jokes in the thing. Like, it was never inappropriate, but I was like,
Yeah, or just like, she runs her hand down Hans's chest and it goes a little bit lower.
yeah, like it goes to
sort
like
of
the
thing.
belt line.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, but there are a couple of times she's just like doing like animal noises.
She's like,
I was like, oh my god. I was like, but yeah, it's really good.
No, yeah, I loved it. And I knew that, because I'd seen, not the Tony version, but I'd seen a professional version of just the Let It Go scene. So not the whole production. This was my first time seeing the production. But I'd used, it must be Broadway. It must be Broadway. Although I thought it was for Sunrise because like the thing is like, it's a promo for Sunrise. So maybe it was the Australian production? If Frozen came to Australia, maybe. But yeah, it was just the clip for Let It Go. And I knew the dress reveal and how they were doing the dress reveal and all that sort of stuff like that because I used that as an example in Year 10 drama. When we talk about like sets and costume transformation and transformation of character and place and blah, 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 whatever. But they did it differently this time because what she did in the West End show is she was standing on the ground, whereas in the other one she stands on the staircase and they pull it from behind. Whereas this one she was standing on the ground and there's a little hole behind her and the hole opens up and it sucks the dress out. So cool. It's just so clever.
You do the equivalent of watching too many trailers for a movie. Like, you spoil musicals for yourself by like...
I really try not to. Because I remember for the longest time, I never listened to the Hamilton soundtrack. Because I was like, I don't want to... Because what had happened with when we went and saw Book of Mormon was I had listened to majority of the Book of Mormon songs. And so then when I went and saw Book of Mormon, I felt like I'd spoiled it for myself. Yeah. So I didn't listen to any Hamilton songs. And then when I finally watched Hamilton on Disney Plus, because I have not seen it live, thank you very much, I had no idea what the fuck was going on. Because all the songs are rap songs. And they talk really fast. And it's all about, like, the American, like, independence.
Yeah, this one could have done
And I was
study.
like, that's the one that I probably... Yeah, exactly.
I've gone to so many musicals with you, and you haven't seen them, and you know the song. Or, like, with Mean Girls, when we finally watched Mean Girls this year, I was like, mate, so is this different to the play? Like, I don't know, I haven't seen them. Like, but you know all the songs.
Yeah, but I'm a dramaturg. I have to know all this stuff.
I guess.
Because... Otherwise, I'm a phony. I'm a big old phony.
Just like Jerry.
Yeah.
Can't you just go to a show, then you write the ticket off as tax?
Yes, you absolutely can.
Should we
claim it on tax? Yeah,
okay.
But how much, James? I don't know if you know this, but we have a child.
Do we?
Yeah, and theatre tickets are actually really expensive.
Yeah, but you write them off.
It's a write-off, Jerry. You don't even know what a write-off is. Do you? No, I don't. But they're the ones writing it off.
Yeah, that's a good show.
Yeah.
Nice one. I was thinking about like all the Harry Potter questions I'd asked you, but I can't remember like half of them now.
Oh, we can like do that another time.
Well, I know you had like you're like, I need to get on the podcast to talk about this because I'm furious. With your Wizard of Oz stuff.
Oh, okay, yes.
Would
Well,
you
like-
still want to vent about it?
No, it's not about the Wizard of
And
Oz.
Wicked.
Oh, sorry, Wicked. It's not about Wicked. It's about the overexposure of trailers.
Yeah.
That is my qualm, basically. So James and I were having this I was arguing, James was listening to my arguing, and my frustrations about the new Wicked movie, because I keep not realising that it's not out,
Yeah.
and that it's out when? Next year?
I don't know. It was out
This
this
year?
year. I just don't know when it's out either.
But it's got to be, if it's out this year, it's out later this year.
Yeah, it's not out now.
Do you want to quickly just give a recap as to what my main arguments are while I search this
Well,
up?
you were like, your basic thing was like, I don't like it when they release trailers a year out because stop
November.
Stop teasing me for a film that isn't out yet because I can't go and see it. And I was like, do you know how advertising works?
No, my argument is that when a movie is announced, okay, they announce, like, let's say they announce the movie in January. So this movie's coming out in November. Maybe they announced it in November last year, so 12 months out, okay? What you should do is you go, guess what, everybody? Wicked's coming to cinemas. When? Oh, next year. Ariana Grande is going to be in it. Oh, cool. Okay. And then maybe 6 months before the movie is released.
Which is generally when this happens.
Yep. There's a teaser trailer. Oh, don't forget, Wicked's coming out. When's it coming out again? November. Oh, that's this year. Oh, okay, cool. And then a little bit closer to the date, another trailer, and then a little bit closer to the date, another trailer, and then maybe like 2 weeks before the release, the third trailer. And guess what? All 3 trailers are different. They're not just the same footage cut differently. Maybe they will actually have some new footage in the third trailer.
Because here's the thing, and I'll let you keep going with your thought. But I was saying this before, like, a lot of people don't want to be spoiled, so the trailers have to be careful. Like with Endgame, when in the lead up to Avengers Endgame, and even I think the lead up to Avengers Infinity War, all the trailers only contain footage from the first 20 minutes of the movie or so.
Yes.
Because no one wanted to be spoiled.
Well, I think that's different
And
because people have been invested in that series for 10 years.
But then the other thing was, like, and it was a Warner Brothers problem, particularly I think Batman vs Superman was the biggest perpetrator. Like,
They showed too much.
Showed far too much.
Yes.
Where
So obviously
people
there
are
needs
like,
to
I
be a
don't need to see
balance.
this movie because I've
But
seen
like,
it.
for instance, let's say if it's a Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone, the first Harry Potter trailer would show like the train going over the Glenfinnan
Well, you
Viaduct.
only know that because
and
you saw that introduction 40 times as quick time loaded on dial-up
Yeah.
internet.
But then the third trailer would still have the same footage as before, you know, Fluffy ripping the door off, the trap door off, and a funny little quip from Ron. But then it might also have a shot of Troll in the dungeon or something. Do you know what I mean? Like, we're talking like insignificant but new scenes.
Well, those are different as well because those are based on books that people have read, so they
Yes.
know what to expect to a certain degree.
But that is how most movies work. But it really fucking pisses me off when a movie goes, hey, we're making a movie. Oh, when is it released? Next year. Okay, cool. And then they inundate you with promos and discussions and interviews and posters, and don't forget it's coming out. When is it coming out again? 2024. Okay, it's 2023 right now. Yeah, but don't forget it's coming out. And I'm like, bitch, I don't want to go see it now. Okay, I'm not going to go see it out of spite now. Like, I am so sick because what happens is I go, oh, cool, new Wicked trailer. Okay, let's watch it. And you watch the Wicked trailer, and you go, all right, so that's coming out in like a month's time, right? No, it's not. It's coming out in 10 months' time. Oh, so I can't fucking see it then, can I? Oh, so I have to sit and wait, don't I? And then like 2 weeks later, oh, another Wicked trailer comes out. Oh, when can I see that? Oh, fucking 9.5 months' time. Great. It's just, people are going to be listening to this podcast and being like, Tina, you are an idiot.
They're probably like, oh, so how movies work?
Yeah.
But I think like.
But I feel like certain movies oversaturate the advertising, and so what ends up happening is that I don't want to see it out of spite.
Well, I think also, like we talked about this before, like especially with social media, like the algorithm plays a big part because you follow Ariana Grande.
I don't think I do.
Oh, don't you?
No.
Or maybe because you had an interest in Ariana Grande in the past and because you're interested in musical theatre and stuff like that, it's going to tailor more stuff to you. Because you were talking about that and I was like, I think I've seen one trailer to Wicked. Yeah.
I think I've seen the trailer to Wicked cut a billion different ways. And it's the same thing. She's in her room and she's in front of her vanity and they're all bitching about Elphaba, and then Elphaba comes in and like it's on news shows, it's on the Google app on like the cards and stuff like that. And I know that's the algorithm again and blah blah blah. But I just feel like there's too much of it. And I'm like, this movie isn't anywhere near coming out yet. Like, just ease off. We don't need, because when it was the Oscars, was it the Met Gala? I don't know.
I think it was the Oscars.
I think it was the Oscars, and the Oscars are in.
Do you know, like February, March?
Yeah, January. Yeah. And so I'm like, and they're like talking to her about Wicked, and Wicked's coming out. It's not fucking coming out at the end of the year. Like, don't. Just, it infuriates me, that's all. And that's my getting off my soapbox.
There you go.
Yeah.
I don't have anything to, like, we talked about it before, like,
Yeah.
because we were talking about we're walking down the street, and it's like, I don't have anything to add to it, but.
And I know everybody's going to be listening going, Tina's an idiot.
No, I don't think so, but it's
No, I
also,
think
like,
so.
but it is a product, and it's a very expensive product, so, like, they invest, like, hundreds of millions of dollars in these films, so, like, we need to let people, especially in a post-COVID world, which is what I was saying before, it's like the theatres don't fill up the way they used to, like, we need people to go and see these movies, so we're going to just
I think the point that I'm trying to make is, I hate it when production companies advertise the movie so much that you don't want to see it anymore. Do you remember what you said about, what was that movie with Sydney Sweeney? You just mentioned it before.
Anyone But You?
Anyone But You. Like, somebody was saying, I was listening to a podcast. I was listening to the Shameless podcast. And they were like, I have seen...
I advertise on the podcast.
Sorry.
Podcast?
I was listening to the podcast. And they were saying how they have seen that trailer and the ads on the buses and the ads on the public transport, and they turn on the TV and there's the trailer, and they go and there's interviews with Sydney Sweeney, and they go so much that they're like, you know what, I'm not going to fucking watch that movie. You've killed it for me. I don't want to watch that movie because I'm so annoyed by the fact that it is everywhere. Yeah.
Never felt that way.
I felt like that way.
I've never like been like, there's too many trailers. Oh man, there's too many posters. Oh, my eyes, they're so burnt out by these posters. Oh, this interview that I can't turn off. What am I going to do? I'm more having to go with them than you.
Yeah.
Because they're in the media, so like, they can just not watch it.
Yeah.
But what they're trying to do is stir up conversation and drama and be like, well, I'm not going to see the Sydney Sweeney movie. Like, all right. I'm sure she'll be crying.
Oh, I think in the podcast, she ended up watching it and said it was great.
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah.
We've got it. Well, we got it in Australia. We don't have it in the UK with us right now.
Yeah.
But it is fun. Yeah, I don't think I've ever felt that way. Like, I'll feel that way about like all the Toyota ads before a movie. I'm like, oh my god, like.
Yeah.
If you show me one more Toyota, I'm not going to buy a Toyota. Like, I probably wasn't going to buy a Toyota anyway.
Well, that was you with the Jeep ads. You, like, refused to buy a Jeep.
I just hate that song. It's just not good. Like, yeah.
And you also hate that. He bought a Jeep. Yeah, he bought a Jeep.
If that's advertising, like,
Yeah.
I just find, like, it's, like, advertising is inherently bad.
Yeah.
Or, like, it's not like Mad Men, where like
Yeah.
Mad Men, where they're creative and clever. Like, it is clever, but in as much as like, what can we do to like get stuck in people's heads? Like, what can we do? Like, it's not clever the way Mad Men kind of, and like romantic the way Mad Men lays it out. Like, it is just garbage. Speaking of ads, so now a word from our sponsor. I don't have a sponsor. But yeah, I don't think I have anything else to add. Like, we covered quite a bit of territory. Talked about some documentaries and
Yeah.
some movies. I'm going to try and watch a few more movies this week. Now that I've got Netflix all set up. I've got a whole new list of Netflix movies. I've got 20 plus Blu-rays to watch, but no Blu-ray player to put them on.
Yeah.
So we'll have to keep... Maybe the next accommodation will have a Blu-ray player. I doubt it. I think I'm going to be waiting until
Yeah.
January to watch them.
Yeah, probably.
I'm going to go home with like 100 movies. I'm like, all right,
Yeah.
let's try and work through these. And there's some new releases, like stuff that came out this year that I really want to watch as well. So I'm like, come on. But we'll get there. Maybe they'll come on streaming before we get home. Did you have anything else you want to add? Are there any other trailers that have been bugging you? Any other movies you're refusing to watch now?
No.
I will watch Wicked, but I'm not like
Oh, yeah, I'll watch it.
kicking down the door to go see it. Like,
Yeah.
I'm sure it'll be fine. Like, I don't know. We'll see how we go. Cool. I think that's going to do it for this week's episode then.
Yep.
Thank you everyone for listening. Thank you for Tina for coming back on. I'm in the process of organising some new episodes. I've talked about this the last couple of weeks, but I've been speaking heavily with Andrew from the Revisionist Almanac. We're going to lock in a date soon. I've just got to get some of my tech stuff organised and then we'll be able to book in an episode. I'll try and get some other guests back on as well. But until then, if you want to support the show, jump online, head to Instagram, follow I Was a Teenage Film Snob, _ between every single word. If you go on, actually by the time this comes out, you won't see it, but Danny Pudi from Community liked a post I did, which was pretty much the coolest thing that's ever happened to me. So that was
I thought yesterday was Kevin Smith's birthday. I thought Kevin Smith liking your stuff was the most amazing thing that ever happened to you.
I think he liked a tweet I wrote.
Yeah.
But it was just kind of like a, I love your movies kind of tweet.
Oh, okay, yep.
His wife liked a joke that I told. I was like, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
But I think in terms of content I created specifically for people who created the content it's based on, this is the coolest thing.
Yeah.
Because we were at a carnival today, and there was like a game called Kick Puncher.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, I'm definitely going to post this and tag all of the Community cast in it. And Danny Pudi liked it within like 10 minutes of me putting it up.
Nice.
I was like, that's awesome. A couple of them don't allow you to tag them, so they couldn't get back. But I'm like, if we could get like Alison Brie or Donald Glover, that would be amazing.
Yeah.
But we'll see how we go. I don't think so. They're pretty busy, I think, those guys.
Yeah.
But yeah, jump on over to Instagram. If you want to talk movies, shoot me a message, comment on my post, we'll have a chat. And if you want to... I'm going to sneeze. Pardon me.
That's you.
If you want to support the show financially, head on over to tpublic.com, type in I Was a Teenage Film Snob, or click the link in my bio on Instagram. You can buy yourself a sexy I Was a Teenage Film Snob t-shirt. They're really comfy, they look great, and they're not too expensive, and first-time customers get 20% off. It's 20.
Oh, that's good.
I think it's 20% off.
Oh, wow.
So go ahead and do that, support the show, get the image out there. It's a striking image. And,
Yeah, the other day Zoe was like, who's that man on your shirt? And I go, that's Daddy. She goes, that's Daddy.
Yeah, for like Daddy
like,
without
yeah.
a beard.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, some more people who buy shirts, so yeah, buy them and spread the news and get the image out there. Trying to harbour a UK audience. We'll see how we go. But yeah, that's going to do it. So thank you everyone for listening. Thank you for Tina. And as I say every single week on this show, guys, I was a teenage film snob, but I'm trying to be better. We'll see you next week.